I'm just looking at the chat because I want to say a few things about what came to mind. First, I just wanted to say this today, but I was like, well, maybe we'll just do an Ask Me Anything. We'll sort of like everybody, it'll be a therapy session for everybody, right? Like we'll just throw questions out, just gonna wing it, which I'm good. I don't mind an improv. Um, but what I wanted to say was that we're starting to gather this community here, right? And that I'm guessing this session is going to provoke a lot of stuff. I mean, everybody's healing the same stuff. And
Yeah.
so I want to encourage everybody to get to know each other in the chat. And I'm seeing like Miriam and Lillian live both in Florida, right? Um, Jesse's greeting us from Nairobi. And to just start to share in the chat here, but also in the chat on my page. And I'm starting to think like we might want to create a women's group, a men's group, and just start to have healing circles, you know. And so we'll talk more about that. I'm gonna brainstorm about it, but I would love your ideas of how to everybody's ideas about how to start to support each other as we heal, right? We pull up this stuff that we've been operating from, we look at it, we wake up from it, we start to heal it in the body, but it's like what definitely happens is everything changes in your life. When this gets healed internally, the mirror is going to shift. And I have to say, every single relationship in my life profoundly shifted, if not fell away. Um, I've moved, I look different, like everything shifts, and it's life will set it up so that it's not it's smooth, it's okay, like, but we have to lean into it, and we have to keep encouraging and mirroring back to each other that it's safe to be this transformed and to be this open and exposed and honest with ourselves and each other. And this is definitely a safe space for it, and in fact, just we're in this moment in time where authenticity, as I've said, is like it's the only currency anymore. It's the only thing that matters. Everybody's starved for authenticity and to be real with each other, right? We're just starved because the whole world is this false fucking thing, right?
I made a video on my way here. I'm at my in-laws downstate, and I should send you the video. I literally said we are starving for love and
Yes.
healing and like that nurturance,
Yes,
like the
exactly.
patriarchal God doesn't provide that. I have this mother God in me that has been, like
Yeah.
holding me through all of this, and it's just like, yes, that word starved. We are
Starved.
starved.
We're at the place of starved, right? And then literally people, there are children and people starving all over the world. We have reached the end of patriarchy. We have reached the end of the extractive prison program that we've got going here, and we're all rebelling and healing, and the healing is the rebellion, and it's game over. It's game over. We're doing it. So
I love it.
but
I love that about you. You're like, this is just it.
it's fucking over. It's like just like forfeit, boys, forfeit. The writing's on the wall.
Right.
We're done. So and then but we want to create these safe spaces and gatherings both in person and online. And so I really want to encourage us to do that. So meet each other in the chat. Let's get to know each other, so and then like I was saying yesterday, right, we have this sort of like initial round table, and then we'll just have these concentric circles. And what struck me was that it's like the flower of life, right? The flower of life
Oh,
is that one circle and then two and then on and on. That's how things grow. And so I feel like we're in that inner circle together, and then
yeah.
we're just going to grow it. Yeah. And then like maybe a men's group and a women's group inside here are kind of those two concentric rings, right? Where the women's are the central focus, and then the men are standing by to support us, right?
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk today about your marriage and things, and it's like you and everyone, myself included, right? I left a marriage that was out of alignment. We've had all these relationships just upside down, right? So we're gonna set it right, and then once that's set right, it ripples out, right? So your talk with me today is going to have such a ripple effect. I just know it, and I want to catch everybody. So let's
Yeah.
meet in the chat
Yes.
afterward. Okay. So
Awesome.
um Lillian wrote me. I just want to say hi to everybody. Timothy, Al's here, Wildfire Rose, um, and Randolph, of course. And you have a sister. See, they're already introducing each other. Who's in Boca? Who's in this? Bill is here. Didn't know you could do this together. Okay. Right. Everybody's like, we didn't know we could heal together. We didn't know. I know, because it's always behind closed doors, so secretive, and it's like
Yes. Yeah.
over it. Awaken the Lions. Hi, Kim. Okay. Miriam says, my youngest daughter says people are starving for authenticity when I say I'm shocked at how well my no filters attitude is being received and not rejected. There we go. Yeah. Exactly. It's like you just be the authentic one. And it's like, and then what happens is the people who aren't meant to be near you for now, they'll just scatter. And then you'll magnetize the other authentic ones, which is what we've done here, right? We're
Yeah.
right here.
Yes.
Lillian says, I always knew, but waiting for this. I know we all knew it. It was like, I'm just the catalyst that brought us to where this was always how it was going to be. It was always going to be this healing circle for no cost. And, cause we're healing one body, one mind. And, that's all there is to it. Okay. I'm going to read your stuff, Lucy. Is that good? Okay. Hi,
Yeah.
Simone.
Yeah. The new one, right?
The new
Like
one.
the second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the new one.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So we're talking about, just Lucy and I were talking about her relationship, right? Her marriage. Um, she says most of our relationship has been spent at odds with one another. We met during a turbulent time in both of our lives. Here's what I will say that I have identified. I've been unable to find safety in our relationship. I come from a background of childhood trauma, sexual, physical, and emotional, psychological, enough that I'm very fearful of men in general. My husband is not abusive, but he was also not emotionally available, and there were a couple of betrayals that really eroded trust. This, coupled with his emotional unavailability, made my healing journey very difficult. We are both in recovery, so we're two traumatized individuals trying to blend a family, and it has been hard to say the least. I began waking up when my daughter was a baby, waking up to the patriarchy, the system, whatever you want to call it, the big lie. It was painfully difficult for me to leave my daughter and go back to work full time, and I thought there was something wrong with me. It took me about a year and a half because there was a lot of pressure to me to be bringing in money. We've always had enough, in my opinion, but he has a lot of fear around money, and my lack of work was a problem for him. So I did. I went back to work. Um, sorry, I'm just making sure that this is the right one.
Yeah. It is. You can tell.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
it is. Okay. So I went back to work and it was unbearable. I went crazy, truly. I started having severe intrusive thoughts. One day I thought the babysitter was cooking her over a fire in her backyard. I had a complete nervous breakdown and ended up in therapy, which saved me. My therapist helped me find safety in the world, in myself, and in my body. I healed. I figured out what boundaries were. But that sense that this is not how I'm supposed to be living has grown more certain over the years. Now, my husband is very much in that world. The financial world, patriarchy, he voted for Trump. For months, I was terrified to even be around him. We have very different values and goals. I used to think this was some lesson for me, that I'm supposed to figure out how to love despite these differences. There are many reasons, my trauma, his betrayal, and now I've been deeply triggered by these political differences. These men are grossly misogynistic, and since he supports them, I associate him with that world. That world is not safe, and therefore he is not safe to me. I don't want my body near him. So we have this ongoing disagreement. He says, I am not them, but I can't separate it. I don't know how. I have dreams, so many beautiful dreams, and I feel held here in this prison of my own making. I want his help desperately, but he doesn't want that life, or maybe he doesn't believe he can. If I'm being really honest with myself, I just don't want to have anything to do with men anymore. Men do not feel safe to me. My husband will say things like, if I don't agree with everything you believe, I'm not good enough for you. And then the guilt comes in. Am I controlling? Maybe he's right. Why do I need someone exactly like me? Been there. But it's not about that. It's about connection. I want a partner who sees the love and growth available outside of the system. I don't hate my husband. I care about him deeply. I just can't relate to him when we're on two completely different planes. And I think something that is true for both of us is that finding a path out is hard. How do we support a family and bring in money in a way that feels good? How do we live an authentic life within a toxic society? How do we raise kids when we wholeheartedly believe in competitive sports and public education, things that I'm very much against? How do we merge our visions or paths to one that feels good and right for both of us?
A
Beautiful.
lot.
Thank you so much. It's a lot. But it's literally everything. It's just perfect. There's not a question you have in here. There's not an experience you have. that either I don't have myself or most of the women I know, men. So, been around doing this for a long time. This is it. As Miriam says, I see you, Lucy. I'm crying for you and me and all of us who don't feel safe with men. Yes. Yes. And what you're identifying, the heart of the matter is that we don't listen to ourselves. We don't listen to our actual bodies, right? We listen to the patriarchal programming. We're supposed to be endlessly loving and accommodating and forgiving of these
Mhm.
men, right? Endlessly. We have all the energy in the world for them. They can take, 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 take. It's give, give, give to them. We funnel, right? This is the backward thing. We're funneling all of our attention into them. Um, and and then when it's not true for us to be connected to them, it's something's wrong with us, right? We're always going to throw our sons under the bus, and they're going to throw us under the bus, right? We're not compassionate enough, we're not forgiving enough, we're not grateful
Yeah,
enough, we're not whatever,
not
right? So
understanding enough. We're not
understanding
accepting of
enough.
other
Yes.
worldviews and
Yes, exactly. I mean, and this is all a construct of who we are supposed to be as women, and how men and women are supposed to connect, and that they're in the lead position, all of this insanity. And it's like I always say, like, meanwhile over here in reality, your body is like, get the fuck away from me,
yes,
right? Which does not mean you don't love him. I love every single one of my exes, probably my ex-husband the most. Adore him. He's so amazing, beautiful, brilliant, brilliant, so fun. And uh, not his essence, it's the conditioning in him,
yes,
right? It's
yes,
not his essence. We love their
yes.
essence.
Like when I
Yeah.
can see, when I can connect in those rare moments where I see his soul and I
Yes.
know that I'm actually speaking to his heart,
Yes.
it's like, oh, I just lost what I was thinking. It's it's like I can see I feel safe there, but
Yes.
so much more of the time is spent in this ego state of
Yes.
fear, right, for him, and I can't connect with that.
No.
And
No.
so I'm just
Yep.
spent
Yep.
so much of our relationship in that disconnect, in that,
Yes.
when he's afraid, I'm afraid, we're like, ooh,
You're like this. Exactly.
opposing magnets.
Opposing magnets. Exactly. Exactly. And what we've been doing here is taking is shifting all of our focus from them to us, right? To reconnect here, which is to say, to not go into the story of how I'm supposed to be loving, to be compassionate, to try to connect, to save the marriage, to be with the kids, because it's not safe. So I've got to make it safe to be with him. I've got to find a way. Right. And
Mhm.
that's where love is, and that's where family is, and that's where the good stuff, which is all the wounded kid looking for love, looking for safety, looking for connection. And we need to give it to her, right? So it becomes this inside out shift. We connect here, we don't we honor her, we listen to the body, right? And then there's this natural response, which is actually going to be for you to get some distance from him. We other people can't heal us. They can't. They have it's every man for himself, as Byron Katie says.
Yeah.
And that is not uncaring, that is not unloving. It is, as my friend Yoshi says, the martial artist, tough, tough, tough woman. It's her birthday today, by the way. She that we have to summit ourselves. We have to summit our own mountain, and we have to find what's true within ourselves, and he has to find what's true within himself. And what we did, what Vasvi was saying, that she has that big hate, that boundary, to get away, to get the space from that noise, from that magnetizing, this clash that you guys have. It's the rage and the hate that is the no, that pushes, that gives you the boundary to then create your own little safe bubble to start to heal. So we'll do that today. This
Oh,
is this is
that
it,
makes
right?
so much sense.
It
Yeah.
makes so much sense. We
Mhm.
can't do it together, right? It's not your job. it's his. It's him healing his own little boy, his own wounded self, his own
Mm.
terrified little one, looking to belong, looking to be strong, looking, and it's men are in total crisis because they're realizing it's like these are the men we're gonna choose men to lead these men, right?
Yeah.
But if he right he's right up against it. He's not like he's got to lose everything, right? He's going to have to lose his whole construct of who he is and what manhood is and what everything is, right? The whole patriarchy.
Yes.
This is why we're saying like it's all got to go, and it's crumbling now. And in everybody's individual life, it's a mess. Like everybody's everybody's reconfiguring here. It's the
Mm.
tower moment in the tarot, right? The tower moment is midway through the tarot journey and the heroine's journey, and it's like midlife when we built our lives. We built a tower into nowhere. We built it from the conditioning of our childhood. We built it from a story of who we are, a story of marriage, a story of goodness, as good enough, of lovability, of all of it, and then it inevitably falls. It has to fall. The next card in the tarot is the star card, which is often it's a woman, a naked woman by some water,
Oh,
and
I love
she's touching heaven and earth. Yeah, exactly. Or it's sometimes a woman with like her third eye opened, so the light from the inside is now shining out. So it's her imagination, her light,
her
her
vision of the
natural.
world.
Yes, exactly,
Uh, yeah.
exactly. So she's opened the tower because it was all the constructs here, and then she opens up, right? So this is the moment we're in as a species, as an Earth, and then individually as well. So it's safe. Everything has to fall apart. It has to be this 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 separation from him, this boundaried place, so that you can let everything fall apart, um, and and then rebuild from the inside out. What's true moment to moment, coming from the inside out. So um, so you're asking questions like what's true for us, what are we going to do, we're and I'm going to ask you to come over to me, just you don't
Mm.
know what's true for him, and it's not your business. Life today, Lucy and I had a lot of back and forth, and I was maybe going to have somebody else on, and it was great, but I was like, I'm like, oh, life will sort it, like we'll see what happens, it'll be
Yeah.
this or it'll be that, right? And Lucy was right with me. It's like, and then it just sorted itself, right? And this happens every day with this in my life now. It's just like life puts a better option just right there all the time. And that's because I don't manage my life. I'm not trying to do anything. As Paul Hutterman says, we're not good management material. We're not good management material because there's no one there. There's no one operating this thing, and there's no one operating that thing. Life is operating, she is operating us all. And so we're going to listen today for what feels absolutely the most effortless and easy, just next thing and next thing and next thing, because that's the flow of life that's going to just drop you right in to something fulfilling and flourishing, right? But we do have to see through those tower constructs of what you're holding on to in terms of the marriage, right? And the only thing that's going to hold on is like, I'm unlovable, I need his love, or I'm supposed to be a good person. And, because if I'm not a good person, if I'm not forgiving, I'll I'll die. Right? Like I like it's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
share a little bit.
I
Yeah.
had another video recently about that, about like, that it is it is survival. It is to our brain, these this ego that we've created, all of these wounds and walls and and responses to different things in our lives is not. I should send you the video 'cause I said it much better then, but it's like our it's almost like our brain doesn't have morality, and our self does, right? And our brain, the ego is constructed in the brain, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like this, it's almost like a robot. I don't
It's
even know.
exactly like a robot. No, that's exactly right. It's programming, right? So,
Yes.
and the programming is this sort of like net. It's like a neural net, right? It's one mind, but it's like a bug in the system. And then it
Yeah.
just repeats. It keeps you in a loop, right? And and so here's my take on the morality thing. Morality is a bug. It's actually a story of good and bad. I don't give a
Mm.
shit about good and bad. And I see your t-shirt, be kind. I don't give a shit about kindness. What I care about is what's true. And what's true is what's kind and what's good.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're looking at that net, and then we're actually taking our seat in the body. And we're not trying to be anything. We're not going to try to be nice, kind, good, bad. The body is it's way better than moral. It's fulfilling and infinitely kind to everything, right? When in an
Mhm.
ecosystem, when you know when an ecosystem is thriving, right, the frogs thriving helps the pond, which helps the birds, which helps the soil, which helps the trees, which helps the waterways, right? There's no so the frog doesn't need to sacrifice
Yeah.
eating too much, right, for the pond and whatever. It's in so this is the zero sum game, which comes
Mm.
from the story of separation, and women have been the brunt of the most of it, which is to say our sacrifice, especially as white women, well, all women, but we were really taught it in very sneaky ways, that our sacrifice is good, that our sacrifice serves, right? Now everybody's
Mm.
been taught that sacrifice is the value, sacrifice is the moral, right? So I mean, that's Christian, that's Abrahamic religion stuff right there. That is, there's never been a bigger pile of horse shit.
I just I can't tell you, I watched your videos and I'm like, someday I hope to be just so unapologetically authentic in
You
the
are, here we are. Here we are.
thing. And you're like, this
You're
is,
laughing with me, so
I love it.
you're not
Yes.
missing anything. Right there, right there's a little story, right? That I'm not that. Yes, you are. You wouldn't be able to recognize it.
I know, right?
So you're just as unapologetic. So my invitation to you is to be unapologetically a fucking bitch or whatever the fuck you are. You got to be willing to be a
Oh,
you got to be willing to be a cunt. And cunt is my favorite word, because cunt, my cousin taught me this. Cunt comes from the word kindness and kin and kindred.
oh my gosh, isn't that ironic?
Isn't that ironic? Vagina comes from sheath for a weapon. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Fuck that
Oh
noise.
my God.
Yes. Yes. So we are cunts together. And, in the drag queen community, being cunt is the highest compliment. She's serving cunt. So you got to serve some cunt.
All right. I'm ready.
Great, great.
Oh my
Which is just
God.
your boundary. It's just your no. It's just your very natural no.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. It actually isn't these convoluted conversations. Oh my God, I mean, this is why I left therapy, right? It's like, we're going to talk and we're going to process, and I'm going to talk to my husband and try to explain. It's like, no. Reality is, your body literally just doesn't want to be around him. And so that's step one. That's where we're at right now, of just, and I want to talk like nitty gritty day to day, right? Of like, how can we start to create some space and just not have the conversations? You don't owe him a conversation. You don't owe him anything. Which again, it's
Yeah.
not
That's
that you don't.
that's the
Yeah.
there is such a story, being raised as such a people pleaser and, a good little girl and all of that shit is like, there is such a narrative around owing, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
like there is some debt
Yes. Yes.
for
Yes.
if I have gained anything from the relationship. I mean, and
You owe it.
especially if we're talking about in terms of money and like support, I have, I mean, I mentioned it in my message that going back to work was, I mean, traumatizing for me. It wasn't just like, I don't want to work because I'm lazy. It was traumatizing for me to leave my daughter. And I remember something that you talked about recently where it's like, I just want to play with my friends and talk about life. And and this is what I want to do. And I would just want to be here with my daughter and play with her and be the one to take care of her. I don't want some stranger caring for her.
Of course. Of course you do, darling. Of course you do. Of
And
course.
like like I've had to, I didn't have to feel, but because of external forces, I felt unbelievably ashamed of that. I felt ashamed that I wanted to be the one to be with my daughter.
Absolute insanity. Exactly. Exactly. Right there, right?
Absolutely.
Absolute insanity. There's nothing more natural law than the woman who wants to be with her child and wants to play with her friends and just be and
Yes.
play and enjoy. This is what we're going to do now. We're done. We're done. We're done with the whole fucking story. We don't have to do it. We don't have, it's just if women divest, and we are divesting from the story of patriarchy, it's over. It's over. It's game over. So
Yeah.
it's just game over. There's nothing, there's no reality to it. We just were going, what's the reality in the bones? What's
Yeah.
reality? I don't give a shit what you tell me about myself or what I'm supposed to do or if I'm work. Like, I don't, the reality rules, right? We've all been, here's programming, programming, programming. Meanwhile, my body's screaming to be with my daughter. And that's what breaks you. It's like, it's this break. It's like, that's the difference, right? The movement away from reality into the program, that's the measure of stress.
Yes.
There's all your stress.
Yeah.
It's not a problem with you. It's just that the organism is trying to run a program that is completely antithetical to the organism. And then women's bodies are even more antithetical. Men's bodies, every body is it's like literally backward, right? The shame, right?
Yes.
The shame is it's just crazy. So, and nobody's to blame. We're going to remove shame and judgment, all of that, because it's irrelevant. It's actually irrelevant. We're just going, what's true? This woman wants to be with her child. Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. You couldn't help it if you tried. You
No.
no, you couldn't.
I
And
could. And that's the
exactly,
crazy thing. It was like, okay, I need to figure out how to be okay with this.
this is it. This is what we've
And
all
that's, I
done.
did. I forced
And
myself into that world for years,
yes,
being like,
and
I
welcome to
have
you.
to.
Yes,
There is something wrong with me, and I have to figure out how to be okay in this system. And
yes.
there's no question why that never worked. I
The
never was
question
okay.
you never were
I
exactly. You can do a performance. We can kind of keep it together for however long, but it never works. And it doesn't. P.S. It doesn't work for anybody. Like 100% of us. There's no one this works for. It doesn't work for the man either. Right? None of it works
no,
because it's all
yeah, he's
artificial. He's
miserable.
miserable.
He's
Miserable.
miserable.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because he's in the wrong seat. Everybody's in the wrong seat assignment. Everybody's the flow of energy is going backward. And P.S. The whole world's fucking free. Right? We don't like the whole job thing and the whole leaving home, like all of it is unnecessary. It's profoundly crazy. And it really all built as this initial split, and then the masculine stealing the feminine's energy, right? Stealing from the earth because they don't know that they have it. They don't know that they're whole. So we're going to heal first, which goes back to your husband. You're going to heal first. It's just going to be how it goes. I've watched this over the years. We've got a very progressive Randolph the Fairy. We got many men here, and they're amazing. And go men, heal, go men. They're amazing, but we all know, right? It's as that side of the species, they lag behind, right? Which is fine. That they're meant to lag behind. We're meant to lead. So you're going to step into your healing and what's true in your body. And we don't know what happens with your husband. We don't know. Here's my projection, because this is a formula that's, well, it's not a formula. It's just the math of what I've seen, I suppose. That if something was started from compromise, and it's possible. It's possible we unwind all the conditioning, and then these two deeply embodied people stay together. It's possible. I have never seen that. um, so I wouldn't put a bet on it, but it's
Oh,
possible. Either way, you're still family. There's still a ton of love.
yeah.
with, and I've said this before, right? If we start something from compromised from the program, we're just going to get further down into the program, and the program is insanity, and it just gets more splintered, and like it can get psychotic, right? It can get, because it's so, what psychosis is, just farther away from reality, right? So
Yeah.
that's all it is. And so then we come back to reality, is to see through it and to come into the body, and then the body is going to it's going to take a very different path. And what I've noticed with everybody in my life is that it just splits off. They just leave. They just go over here because they have to do their own healing. And then I don't know when and if life will bring us back together again, like two streams, right? So we're in this unwinding process for you. You're in the lead position because you're the feminine, and you're curious, right? You're not your husband's just in the program 24/7, right? There might be these little glimpses, right? And you're like, "Oh my God, I love that essence of him." Right? But just it's sort of like if a dog has rabies or something, right? Where it's not the dog's fault, and
Yeah.
it's no problem, but
Mm.
this is why I'm always like, we need to quarantine the billionaires and quarantine, right?
Yes.
We don't, right?
Yes.
Just quarantine them. It's like, okay, and then we're going to be like, which one, like here's your toys here, you're up at the North Pole. Whatever. This is my
That's a
idea.
good point.
They're up at the North Pole, and they're, they can't leave, but they have everything they need and more, all the toys they want. And then sort of like in a crib.
Yeah,
They're independent.
it is. It's like I think about that all the time. We need to be envisioning that these people are toddlers.
They're
What would you
toddlers.
do
They are
if
toddlers.
your toddler was hitting people and taking things from other kids, right? Like you would, because that's essentially what they are. They
That's
have
exactly what they are.
that disconnection from their self. That they haven't grown up. They're wounded little boys, and it's almost like, yeah, we just need to a mom. We need a great mother to come
Yes.
in and just say, we're going to go over here.
They're over here.
I'm going to put you in this little play area so to
Exactly.
keep you safe from your friends, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
we
I mean,
don't need
it's
to
literally
punish
that.
them. We don't need to shame them. They don't even know, like they don't have that connection to that moral self. They're just these robots doing this, like spazzing out all over the world. And it's like, okay, somebody just needs to put them,
Corral them. Yeah.
yeah,
Just catch
like
them,
herd
corral them.
them.
Exactly. And then love them. And then, which is really to
Yes,
say, help them love
yes,
themselves. Like,
somebody
dear, you're
needs to
safe.
love
We don't want to
them.
kill you. Yes, we love you.
Yes, we
Yeah.
love you.
Surprise, we love you. Surprise, Elon. You had it wrong.
Oh my gosh. I am
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
glad we're talking. I just want to have a gratitude moment. Yes, that
Oh,
is
totally, me too.
my thoughts exactly.
That's it. Exactly. So this is it. So fellas, if you're listening, this is the solution, right? It's like, and we need the other men to corral them,
Yes,
right? We need the
yes.
other men to, right? So, and that's where there's a little bit of a split right now, because it's like, men, you're gonna have to stand with women, because again, you're gonna have to like put your body on the line and put your reputation on the line and whatever, because we're
Mhm.
there, we're at that moment where the reveal of like, oh, it's kind of always been about enslaving women,
Yeah.
um, is
Mhm.
the
And
jig
out
is
of
up,
fear, right? It's
out of fear.
it's completely out of fear
Yes, it's
because we
completely.
have there at some point they saw our connection to nature and our intuition as a threat.
Yes,
It's
our
like
life force. We give life to everything. We are the life.
mhm.
We are the
There's I
portal
think
of
there's
life.
and some
Yeah,
jealousy there.
a little
There's
jealousy. Yeah, you think that when they made God a man and said that women came from Adam's rib, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with
right,
jealousy.
yeah, just a
I'm gonna say.
tad, smidge.
I'm gonna say. Yeah. Um, and like Randolph has been discovering these men. It's like once they love themselves, and they're not that once they've filled that hole, which is not a hole, right? They've just opened the portal inside that heart that felt so disconnected. Then this rush of the love that's surrounding them comes through, and then they see us differently. They don't see us as something to take from, to fill that
Yeah.
hole,
Okay.
right? But everybody has to embark on that healing journey on their own, right? That process. And what's clear is that your husband's not in that process right now, but you are. You're completely in it. It's too late for you. You're done. Like you're
Oh yeah,
already. It's
there's
yeah.
no going
There's
back.
no
Yeah.
going back. And then that what can happen is that tide of life of the truth can really just it does kind of what a flood does. It'll just like redistribute everything. So
Okay.
and so
Yeah.
what I want to do today is like
Interesting.
it really does. So like this happened. I left my husband in 2018, and like oh, it was like everything shifted. Like I found that my perfect office, then I found the perfect home. Then 2020, I found the perfect dog.
Oh,
2020 hit, and I got to go online, and then started to plan a move to California. And then I could leave Illinois as a psychologist because I didn't need to practice in Illinois. And it was like bing, 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 bing. And then there was a whole nother relationship from that cult I was in that had to go. But life just was like it's like every time I find a truth, right, another layer of no, and then what's my yes, it's like, here darling, do you want, like, so I'm like, this cottage I found, I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute. I had no idea the gifts that were here, like endless gifts. Like couldn't have imagined a better landscape to hang out in right now in my
yeah.
life. Like it's just perfect. But I didn't know that. I didn't plan on it. All I did was follow. So, and I've said this before, but it often sounds like I don't know why, I just want to do this, right? And you connecting here feels like I just know I need to talk to you like this,
Yes.
like this. And it's just going
Hmm.
to keep feeling like that. So you've got it's an inner compass, because life only steers you toward fulfillment. That's
Okay.
all that life is ever going to do. That's natural law. We have these universal laws. I want to write my own. It's
Yeah.
our own. Everything moves toward fulfillment. And
Okay.
but then we have this artificial programming that the masculine came and said, here's what's good, here's what you're doing, right? And we're being siphoned off of. And women are waking up, breaking free of that program. And it's like, listen, darling, just listen to the body. What does she want to do today? And it's going to be weird. It's going to be upside down. You're going to think everybody's going to, this is not going to be safe. But what's not the only safe thing is to follow your fulfillment. Now, the good news is you're safe either way. You don't even die. You're immortal. So there's nothing to be afraid of. But and life, meaning life will just, if you go in the wrong direction, right? If you go with the programming, you're going to hit wall after wall after wall after wall, like you're doing now. And
Yeah.
every single one of those is like a bumper on a bowling ball. It's like meant to push you in the other trajectory.
Yeah.
Everything serves. So you're either following the river flow of life through you naturally and it's effortless, or it sucks and it's pointing you back toward effortless.
Okay.
Promise. Promise.
That makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, part of that struggle is like I feel so moved in these ways and like this is what feels right and that feels awful. Like it, and it's I think where it becomes really challenging is when you have a child
Yeah. Yeah.
that, you know, I want her to go to like a forest school where she's playing in nature all day, or I want to homeschool her. I mean, truly.
Yeah.
Um, and and then you have well, her father who has rights and who has a right to, his values and whatever, wants something completely different.
Yeah. 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 So let's go into this. So, and it would tell me the setup of the household. Your daughter's 7 or 6?
Mhm.
Okay.
7.
7. And then you have the step kids are also in the house
Yeah, half the time.
half the time. Okay. And where do you live, just in case people want to
I live
contact
in
you?
Illinois. I was going to ask you where you're from,
Oh gosh, yeah. I lived in the city of Chicago for
like in the
24 years.
city.
I was in Evanston very
Wow.
briefly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Where are
I'm
you?
out in Wheaton, so just like I don't know if I should be airing
I
that
know
on
it.
live.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
Um,
Me too. But
anyone
well,
will
just
know
the
that.
general area is fine,
Yeah,
and only to say like everyone's like, oh, Boca or this or that, and just in case there's anybody in your
yeah,
area who also wants to
yeah,
homeschool or is like, you know what I mean? Because
yeah. Right.
this is the next move, is that we women wake up individually, and then exactly naturally we're just going to create these circles of women because
Community. Yes, that's
that's
what
the
I've been
community. It's
dying
very
for.
dying for
We're so
exactly
lacking in that in our world. It's so isolated, and I know by design.
by
By
design.
design,
Exactly,
they
all
ripped us
these little
away from
jail
our
cells.
children. They ripped us away from each other. They sequestered us to be
Yes,
ah,
exactly. The grand plan of
the
controlling the
rage.
feminine. Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's just it's like fuck that noise. And then there's just the very natural desire to create circles of women. Of course. Of
yes.
course. So we're doing our virtual village here, but sure enough, we got and there are people on this line right now that are in Illinois or in Chicago. So
Oh,
we'll
that's
just see.
amazing.
It's amazing. So
That's amazing.
yeah, exactly. So, because I was in Chicago a lot, so I have a lot of Chicago connections, for a long time. So, we're just going to create that initial hub, and then it's that those concentric circles, right? So, we're imagining that together. We're letting the real desire in your heart speak itself, and we know that words cast spells. Now, not the
Yeah.
spells of the warlocks who built this world, but of of life. So right, like the desires of women make the world. They're literally what builds the world, right? The woman who's pregnant wants this exact sandwich because that's what builds the brain in the baby, right? And because it's the exact right amount of fat and protein and everything else. And
Yeah.
your desire in Wheaton for a homeschool is and you saying it out loud, it's an attractor state, right? It's physics. It's just gonna like attracts like. So I don't know how that goes, but I do know once you say it out loud, it's magic. And once you stay in that river of life of what you desire, and I don't know what it looks like for you. It might be that you go online and look at other homeschoolers in the area. Maybe you've already done that.
Hmm.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
right, and then it just starts to evolve, and maybe it evolves into a statement to your husband. It's not a conversation. It's a
Well,
statement.
and this is where I get okay. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you brought that up
Okay, good.
because this is where I get a lot of narratives that come in because I have said it before. Like I said it to him at one point. I just said, I want to talk about homeschooling. I want, and it was like a no,
Yeah.
that will not be happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then this fear comes in
Yeah.
of like, you know,
Yeah.
he's not going to let me do this.
Yes. Yes.
I am
Yes.
going to be forced to keep putting her into a public school and into an environment that does not feel safe and fulfilling to of the soul, public education. For what it's I know that she's would learn a lot about the world that I maybe don't know how to teach her, but there's so much more, right?
Yeah.
Um
Indoctrination
and
program.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. To me, it is indoctrination.
It is. It is.
And yes, and I am like I have this aversion to it lately.
Yes.
Um and so then I'm like I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do because I'm like, okay, he's going to take me to court. He's going to fight me on this. He's not going to let me do this. And I start to panic inside.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Okay. Good. What's the worst thing you can imagine happening? What's the worst fear?
about with her being in public school.
And in the process of her being in public school and the process of him, like what are you most afraid he
Oh,
might
okay.
do? Yeah.
Just like take her away or something.
Like her. Yeah.
Like take me to court and like try and prove that I'm an unfit mother or that my decisions for her are not sane or sound, because that is truly the idea there in
Yes.
that mindset of the patriarchy, and all of this is like to want to homeschool, to see, the left woke radical left, right? It's like this, that I'm somehow unhinged because
Yes.
I,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
that's the fear, is like that he's going to take her away from me,
Absolutely. I
or
hear
that
you.
I'm going to have to
Yeah.
put her in public education and just die inside in the process. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't even.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I mean, this is it, right? The hysterical woman is literally all of the field of psychology was built on that, right? They demolish our lives and then call us crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And because the problem's always with us. It's never with them. um so so there's the fear, right? And it is always a lie. It's always a lie. Fear is always lying. And
Okay.
it's a story in time. From what you've said about your husband, he's very red pilled and he's very lost, but there's there's love there.
Oh, yes. And
Yes.
a very tender
Yes.
person
Yes. Yes, exactly. He
inside.
doesn't want Men don't want to hurt you. They don't. They're lost, right? They're these lost boys. He's a toddler underneath, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is it's just like what you were saying with the toddlers, with the Elons of the world, right? Is you're going to be the mother. You're going to honor what's true for you. You're going to lead.
Okay.
Okay. And you can hear it in the words, right? The fear is, and this is leftover. This is like in our programming as women, right? We ask for permission. I'm so sorry because we literally don't survive if a man doesn't approve of what we're doing. But
Hmm.
right, like that's our history, right?
Yeah.
So we're fawning and doing whatever, people pleasing, right? A survival mechanism. But the truth is, he doesn't want to harm you. The truth is, he doesn't want to harm you, right? Yeah. And the
Yeah.
truth is, he also knows you, right? As much as he's in the program, desperately clinging to this idea of manhood and patriarchy, right? Out of his fear, he knows you he knows you love your child and his kids, right? And that you're
Hmm.
not like it's all in the service of them.
Yeah.
And it's so as you're seeing through the fear, and let's just come into the body together. So just feel your heart and feel your pelvis and feel your belly, and everybody can do this with us. And we're going to ask this question Byron Katie asks of like, who would you be? How would you feel? What would you say? How does the conversation go? Just looking at him, feeling into your belly, look at yourself. If you're not believing like he wants to kill me, he wants to attack me, he's not safe. So you're just looking at him, but you're looking at him from inside your body, not from inside from the veil of the program. You just take your time. So you're just going to let life speak for you. And it's going to be an I statement. It's just going to be a like just you're just this nonviolent communication is basically just authentic communication. It's just saying what's true. And that comes from the inside out, from the body. So we take the veil away of he's trying to hurt me, he's going to take things away, all the conditioning we've had, and here's just your being, and she can say she'll just say what's true. It might start with I'm going to, not I'd like to, not I want to discuss.
Oh God. And it is so, and yeah, so I am going to homeschool our daughter.
Right.
I am going to join this nature co-op, and because this is another topic that has come up, I am going to like permaculture our home
Mm.
I am going to take every step necessary to disconnect completely from this system
Yes.
so that
Yes.
I can rely on myself and learn and teach my children how
Yes.
to, I mean, make our own clothes, feed,
Yes.
grow all of our own food. I don't, like this is what I'm going to do. And
Yes.
you are welcome to help me and come along with me.
Yes.
And so here's what will happen in the past when I immediately what comes in is and because and maybe this is just a mirror, right? But
Let's play it out.
he'll
Yeah.
say things like, it's my way or the highway. I'm controlling. I'm trying to that he has no voice or no say in how we live our lives. And so then I'm just consumed with guilt. Like, I don't want to be that person, right?
Right. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't, I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to be seen as
Right there. Right there. Right. I'm
oppressive.
the bad kid. I'm the bad girl
Yeah.
who's hurting him, who's my way or the highway. But let's go back. It is your way or the highway.
See, and that's what I love about you because you'll be like, is there something wrong with that? Right? Like,
Correct. That's correct. You got it. You got it. You got it. You found it. Yep.
is there a
It's
problem
you
with
do it
me?
my way or you go because this is my fucking house. Which you don't have to say. But it's like because that's correct. It is the woman's way or the highway. Because if you're not eating the sandwich that leaves the bit right, like that's the right order of things. What you
Yeah.
want serves everyone.
Yes.
What you want serves him.
Yes. And I'm
Yes.
like, I don't know how to like just shake him and make him see that.
You don't have
Like,
you don't have to. You just give him a job. So you can
okay.
say, yes, yes, it's my way or the highway. Here's what I need from you.
Oh my God. I love it. That feels so good, right?
It feels so good because it's natural law. It's how it's that's the right order.
It feels
It's like,
so empowering, but not in like a shitty way,
no, yeah,
Because
it's
I
not
don't
manipulative. Oh, the only thing we had was
know.
manipulation.
Yes.
But now we're freeing ourselves, and now we just
Just
have
truth.
truth.
Just
Yeah, just
truth.
truth.
Yeah.
Just deliver the truth, and it's unfathomably simple. It's like I need you to go get the fencing material or whatever, right? I need you to go get like it's like right?
Just
I
give
need
him a
you to
job.
yeah, just give them a job. That's what men are built for. Their whole purpose is to serve the feminine. That's what they're built for, and they love it. You get a man who has a task to do, right? The whole fucking red pill submissive, getting women to submit. It's like, fellas, you're the submissive ones. You submit to your woman. And if you don't like what her plans are, if you don't like doing things, then off you go. It's the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing I said. You don't like, I don't expect anything from you. And I think that's what becomes very hurtful for him is like, oh, so you're
Never
going to
mind.
do this with or without me. And I'm just like, and it's like, well, kind of, but not in like a bad way. Like I love you and I would love for you to be here and stay and do this with me,
Yes.
but I can't not do it.
Yes.
There's
There it is.
there's no option for me in my life at this point to
Yep.
not follow this. I can't.
Precisely. You
I
can't.
will, my
Exactly. We reach the
soul
end
is
and it's like,
dying.
I
Yes.
said the exact same thing to my husband. I said, I love you and I have to go.
Yeah.
I literally can't do one more day. Right.
Yeah.
Because my body is like, go girl. Right. So you is this big calling to do this. It's just true. It's a fact. I don't love the whole like feelings are facts thing, but if we take the what people often mean is like the storied emotion, like their convoluted story about something isn't a fact, but your desire in your bones is. It's
Yeah.
just true. It's
Okay.
like it's just I always go back to the baby, right? It's like the baby eats something that the body doesn't want, it just throws it up.
Yeah.
And that's just true. And then you go, well, is it the baby's his way or the highway? It's like, well,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, because
I know.
I'm going to throw it up. you know, and you're in that point where it's like my body's like rejecting anything the other
Yes.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then they take it personally. It's like I'm not rejecting you. I
Oh,
love you, but my body is rejecting this thing that you're offering me, or this way of or
way of
schooling my
life.
children. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. But giving him a job is going to tell you everything. It's like first he has purpose. That's his purpose, right? And it's like, and then you can really tell him, this is so helpful. I love when you do this. I love doing this together,
Yeah.
right? You're going to find out very quickly when you start giving him assignments whether he's going to heal and like get it and do it, or whether he's going to fight you, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're just, and then it'll be the next thing and the next thing. But of course you would invite him. Of course you would say, here's what I need from you. Here's what I want. Here's, and really just lay it out. And you tell yourself first, right? So you can really hear it. What do you want? And get into detail about it. Like be in that imaginal space where that inside out, right? The light from the star card, right? You're seeing your vision because you're letting it out of the cage.
Yeah.
And then you just tell him, here's my vision. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's where I could really use you. Here, here, and here. I don't know if you saw the video I did where I'm like, hey, women, men are your action figure.
Yes. Yes. I saw that. Like, oh,
But I've had so many men go like, yes, yes, yes. They're so happy to be our action figure. Thank God. I finally have a
yeah.
purpose and I don't have to lead anymore.
Yes. Yes. I think that they are, in general, men of this day and age feel an enormous weight of responsibility that they don't want and they're not prepared for.
And they're not
Like you
prepared for it,
said,
and they don't,
think of
it's wrong, right? They're leading each other and like chasing their own tail.
yes.
Because they're not the source of life, because they don't have that vision. They aren't the visionaries. They aren't the oracles. They're not the seers. They're the servers.
Yeah.
You are, right? You have a whole vision for your family. That's
Oh
what
my
women
God.
are for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they serve it and they serve it. And again, we're not talking men necessarily, we're talking about the masculine, right?
Oh,
Gender neutral. But it's the masculine serves the feminine because the feminine is the life force, right? She's the earth. And she's just flowing, and then the masculine serves and serves and serves, right? The metaphor of having a child is perfect. It's like the woman knows what to have, and then the man goes and gets the sandwich.
yeah. Yes.
That's it. And then they're like so fucking happy to go get the sandwich.
Yes. Hmm.
And then the people, the like when we talk about the elemental species and stuff, they all card sort, right? I was thinking about my fairy friend today, and I was like, oh my god, he would just love to like travel and fun. It's just a million things, right? And other fairy women, my mother would have loved that, like two fairies just flying around, and they don't really they don't, maybe they have a home, but mostly they live out of vans or whatever, right? And they're just like, let's do this and let's try this and let's live here and whatever. um and that's, I married a fairy, but my hobbit dream is very different. It's very homey, and it's like it's building out a home. So point being, if it, as you say your dream, it'll resonate in his body or not, right? And you guys can talk about that. It's like, I'm noticing this isn't exciting for you. This isn't, you don't love this, you know and I want you to love your life and to love serving the woman that you're with, right? And supporting her. Um, but we don't want, nobody wants service that has this O thing, right? That has this zero sum game in it.
Yeah.
We want service that's a win for them as well. It's so everybody's moving from abundance, everybody's moving from fulfillment, and it's just like win, 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 ding, 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 overflowing cups. At no point does anyone sacrifice. So you're not asking for his sacrifice, you're asking for his enthusiastic service.
Yeah. Okay. And so now I'm going to bring in an even bigger question.
Great.
I think I put this like towards the end is like, okay, so how, because we have to have money.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I think that's where he sees it as like, you just get to go out and play, and I'm stuck here in this job making the money that pays the bills for our house.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yes.
creating this insane amount of resentment
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
yeah, that all sounds wonderful, but
Yeah.
how do we support our 4 kids? How am I going to send my kids to college? And it's that patriarchy, blah, 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 it all spirals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's,
Exactly. Um. So is he? Does he? Do the your stepkids have just like do they have a mother around? Like what's the situation there? How
yeah,
old are they? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
teens,
All right. Do they all
preteens,
want to
and
go to
teens.
college? Yeah.
I have
Preteens
no,
and teens.
I know the oldest will.
Okay.
Um, the younger two are a lot more artsy, although there's art school and stuff, but I don't, he's very, I mean, again, very, you have to get a college education because he didn't, right?
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has, it has been a huge source of struggle and shame for him, like throughout his life. And so it's like, he is, you're going to college,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is so and this is a little it's a little different with your child and his children from this other marriage, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. And
With
you're and
mine, I'm
you
like, I'm not going to force that on her, and
no.
you're not going to either.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
can't say that
exactly.
for his kids, which is a whole nother trying to parent differently in the same house all these years has been
Yes,
it just
yes,
started
yes.
pouring here. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but now I'm like
No.
starting to shout.
I gotcha.
It's um
It's I can't hear it. It's fine. Um,
okay.
okay, good. So when you're talking about homeschooling, it's your daughter that
Mm.
we're talking about. Okay. Um, and then just how much research have you done? Like is like this forest school, would you be able to like enroll her soon? Could is it something you would want like would you want to teach at the forest school? Like give me a little more context of
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I could get into. I don't know. We might want to save that for another day. But like my whole dream, I have a whole organization for to really connect children with nature
Yeah.
in a way that serves them and the earth healing. you know I think about when you take care of something, you form a totally different connection and love for that. I think about like my kids and my cats and like that, and the earth. When you start actually taking care of the earth, you develop a relationship with her that is so beautiful. And I'm like, this is what we need to be teaching kids, right? This is how we're
Yeah.
going to save our planet. They need to actually care. They
Yeah.
don't need to
Yeah.
just be riding their bikes outside. They
Yep.
need to care, and they need to know how to work with so I have this whole idea of a
Yeah.
school essentially
Great.
that
Great.
that or some sort of a program that would teach kids
Great.
those skills and that relationship. So but to start, I think I would probably do a mix, right? I would
Yeah.
do some of the teaching myself and then bring in just some tools and curriculum and stuff to make sure that she's learning what she needs to know to be, I mean, I was raised in public school, and I see the dark side of it, but I also know that I was very fortunate to have the education I had. I can have,
Yeah.
it allowed me to have broader views about the world in a sense. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Great. Great. I'm reading Randolph's comment. He says there's an orc in my town doing Lucy's dream.
Oh,
This is why.
oh, I love this. I'd
um
have to, can I see messages? I don't
yeah, I
even
think
know.
you can. Patrick also says no woman I've ever met wants an action figure. Please awaken them. LOL. We're working on it, Patrick. Spread the good word. Jesse Miriam says, my four daughters and I have become action figures from a lot of lack of action figure men in our lives. I know, me too.
Right?
Why haven't we all? Um, so I was asking that because I just had a feeling like somebody was going to come in because so the money thing, right, is like it's a story, which
Yeah.
we still live in, right, and we're not going to be in denial about still living in money, but um, your dream has the potential to bring in more resource and money than anything,
Yes.
right? It's
Right.
like it's just abundance. Like we already have a connection for you, right? And it's like I'm hard on these women who do the charitable stuff like Lynn Twist. She's a woman who's one of the people who've asked for and received more money than anyone ever. Um, so like billions of dollars. And she has said very clearly, wealthy people, right, who are at the top of patriarchy are the most miserable. And they're all looking for something to give money to because they don't have any, they have been stripped of their soul, right? To survive and to do well in this system, you have to have split from your body. And she asks for money as a for a living. And we are at this crux point, right? Where the education system's falling apart. Everything's falling apart. You have this whole vision, right? And we have all this money. There's going to be a transfer of wealth at some point. And it's just we just need to build the platforms, right? I'm going to do my best here to help us build the new PBS, right? That's my dream, so we can just give away healing tools. But yours is schooling that's completely integrated with nature, right? P.S. There's so many other people with that dream. And
Yeah.
then we have this
Yeah.
network, and it's like, what's better to fund than that?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
What you just get one rich person's ear, and they're just like, take everything because I got to save my soul, by the way, and I got to save it quick.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
Yeah.
so we're just right there. We're just right here. We're right here where like the the hoarded resources, right, are just straining to stay away from the people. And it's like, I'm reaching out and saying like, here's this free thing, and you reach out and go, here's this idea I have for school, and then you network with Randolph's people, and and then you
Yeah.
come up with a grant proposal or a whatever proposal, right? And you put it out there and you pitch it and go, here's a forest school, and you guys all come up together as a team, and it's like the dam's gonna break. It's just gonna break.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Because
feel that. I believe
you feel
that
it,
too. There's
right?
going to be a shift into
There's just going to be this,
shift of
yeah,
wealth and a shift of money into
yeah,
more purposeful, you
real,
know,
real things like
real.
like
Yes.
how school should really be. It's not even school, right? It's just kids. It's just kids being able to play with
Yeah.
whatever the fuck
Let's
they want to play
play
with.
outside. Yeah.
Yes.
I was out. I'll end on this because I think I have to get inside. It's like starting to pour out here. But um, I was, we're down at my in law's farm and we were out in nature yesterday, just hiking around. And they're like, can we take our shoes off? I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, girls, in there. They're splashing around, getting all dirty. And my 7-year-old goes, "This is what we should be doing instead of school, Mom. This is." She said, "I'm learning way more out here than I do in school." It was so sweet, and she's like having a little conversation with her sister, like, "This is great, right? We should do this all the time." Yeah, oh, so
Of
beautiful.
course. So simple, so true. P.S. Everybody wants to do that. And P.S. All the adults want to do it too. And then we can just get rid of jobs. And the ones who want to build this kind of natural home go there, and the ones who want to do it right, we can just card sort ourselves to just go play with our friends. That's all anybody wants to do. And in nature,
Yeah.
right? It's the same, which are our friends. Yeah.
Animal, like, oh god, it's like it's crazy that it has for so long felt wrong to want, like that
I
makes
know.
lazy, not lazy is a big one. Or defiant or rebellious, and like I don't know, I can't even the word, but like you don't want to work. Like who are you? You know, like that's I can't even.
This is the backward. It's up is down, black is white. Right? And you're a bad person if you don't want to work. It's like nobody wants to work. Who fucking wants to work? We just want to play. Yeah.
There's so many gifts that I think I have could be exchanged for money, but that's not why I want to do it. You know what I mean?
No,
I want to do
no.
it
We want to
to
do it because
share
we
that.
love it. Yes. And then that
Yeah.
is the most productive thing in the world. It actually
Yes.
works. It's the only thing that works, right? Yes.
Oh,
Yes. People have a fear that they'll be lazy or that whatever. It's like I've never met a lazy being in my life. The laziness is the rebellion against an insane system or whatever
yeah.
it's just all insane. So it's like a body, like you haven't met a lazy toddler or a lazy infant. They explore and they play with things until they want to play with them, and they build things and they yeah yeah yeah
Be critical.
yeah exactly.
What's wrong
It's a
with that
little
thing?
choppy, but yeah,
I
exactly.
know
so
the
so
storm. It's
you're
getting really stormy.
it's getting really stormy. It's so exciting. It's very um I'm just checking my
I know. I
my
can see it.
charge
I can
here.
hardly see it from the window.
It's cool. It's
I know.
stormy here too. It's windy. It was raining in Chicago this morning too. So yeah. Um, the winds of change. The winds of change are here.
I
uh,
know.
yeah. So your dream is our dream, which goes back to what we're doing here, right? Your healing is our healing. Your dream is our dream, and we're with you. We're 100% with you, and we're lit. Like there's literally so many people.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
so glad we talked today. Thank
Me
you.
too. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Well, we're going to keep in touch, right? You're going to come into the chat. We're
Yes.
all in it together here.
Yeah.
And you're going to meet
We'll
other
keep
people in
chatting.
Illinois and meet Randolph's people. And that's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm happy to, we'll set up another day to chat. Please.
Exactly.
I
Exactly. We'll be
can't
here.
wait.
Exactly. This would be nice. We'll sort of like it'll be like a next chapter. Like what's
Okay.
going on with Lucy? It'll be yeah. My ex-husband used to say in signing off like love your show. So it's like we all love Lucy now, and we're all gonna tune in next week, see what's going on. Here we go. You get best
Thank
wishes, Lucy. So refreshing to tune in. My former husband could never do all I did, and the family told me so. He just want to work, had dozens of roles to play. Exactly. These men they just want to help. So we'll see what happens with your husband. You don't need to be strong, nothing. You're just going to be honest. You're just going to speak right from the heart. It's this effortless thing. It's the simplest thing, and invite him to support you and let him know, how helpful that is. Yeah, that
you.
he's being a great action figure. He's just, you know,
Thank you.
yeah.
I want to embody that. I'm going to. Just like,
You
yeah,
are.
it's
You
your
already have.
highway or the highway.
I'm just reflecting back. You said it to me. I didn't say it to you. Cool. All
Okay.
right.
Until
Give
next
lots of love.
time.
All right. Until next time, love.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Stay
Bye.
dry.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Bye.
everybody.
Or don't go play in the rain.
I'm going to.
Okay, good. Good, good.
That's what I'm doing.
Cool, cool. Okay, bye. Oh my God, so good. Oh man, team, that was fantastic. Lots of love. Isn't this so good? I'm just looking to see if I missed anybody's comments. Welcome everybody who came in later. Randolph, I'm sure. So I wanted to brainstorm about this. Like, how do we meet up? Is it through the chat? Is it you know, is there a function in Substack I don't know about? Um, because I want a place for everybody to go and give Lucy resources and for us to share. And then where do we create what could be a men's group and a women's group? Miriam says I started sobbing as soon as she started speaking. I know, it was just Grace. You saying that made me tear. I was just Ugh, ugh, the gift of like of being able to do this together. Yeah, yeah. We all know, I know that pain so well. It's just like the perfect, her story is our story, you know? So good. And thank you all for being here and witnessing her, witnessing this, and then healing together. I just want to keep it rolling. Like, where do we go? Where do we help support each other as these things open up? Right? Who does Lucy call when it gets a little sticky? If it gets a little sticky in conversing with her husband, she'll come here. We'll chat. It's no problem. She's in my DMs. But I would love us to just be really networked and in those concentric circles together. So help me think about that. Okay. Well, I loved it. Y'all loved it. This is so special. I have to go to the bathroom. So I think I'm just going to end early. And what other updates? So tomorrow Vaspi and I are going to chat about authorities. Friday, Jeremy's going to be here. We're going to talk a free internet, and he'll be here with me, I think. And we'll talk about that. I have this woman named Tamara who hit me up on TikTok, who says she's working with AI systems that are woman-centered, that that are not kind of erasing us as the current systems are. And she wants me to be part of their advisory board. I don't know what that means, but we're chatting, and so we'll see. We're looking for the where do we put this new PBS? Where do we put us? Um, so we'll go into that on Friday, and then today I'm working on another just friendly jab at Zach Bush about something he said that he wanted to share to everybody. So I'm just gonna keep poking the bear over there. So that's the plan for the rest of the week. Miriam says, thank you. So nice gathering, isn't it the best? Thank you for holding the space. Thank you for being here and holding it with us. So beautiful to have you all here. This is the best. So I think we have somebody coming on next Wednesday for another one of these, and then we'll have these sort of chapters, returning characters, returning people. Okay, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Thank you. Love you. Bye.